And he's not alone, because the I-Team has found that all over Texas, people are getting bills like this, charging them for collect calls they didn't make.
I think we are just getting a preview of what's to come. This rain just starting to come down right now.
A teenager is now back behind bars after allegedly stabbing a cab driver. So what's going on? You see, the city of Houston has made the same mistake over and over again.
Hi, Mom, I'm on TV. Right now, we are at the Buick booth, and this is where you can try your shots. And if you come behind me here, we're actually underneath a home right now. This home actually standing tall, but straight down, straight shot. There used to be a home right there.
A Houston family says their father's gravesite has been disrespected, driven over, and damaged again and again.
They complained, but it just kept happening, so they called the 11 News I-Team for help.
Here's investigative reporter Courtney Zubowski.
Till death do us part wasn't long enough for Anita and Melvin Schultz. This World War II veteran and his wife were inseparable in life and wanted nothing different in death. Their daughter knows the story.
They bought these plots back in the 50s.
2 burial plots, side by side at a local cemetery. And now, Melvin is gone.
See how they're going? Yeah. All along here.
And his 89-year-old widow can't believe what's happening to his grave at Forest Park, Lawndale.
When I go to the cemetery, I want to have a peaceful feeling, in which I don't.
Because each time Anita and her family visit, there's something. Either a run-over broken corner post or a sunken footstone.
He served 3 years for his country, and that's the respect he gets.
But worst of all, are the clear signs that cemetery staff is regularly walking and even driving over Melvin's grave.
Well, I get very depressed because I know when I get buried there, they'll be doing the same thing to my grave.
And she's not happy with the cemetery's management.
My son-in-law has complained, I've complained, she has complained. And it doesn't do any good.
And so they called us, the 11 News I-Team. And here at the cemetery, we spotted the problem at Melvin's grave and at other graves too. Resting places turned into a thoroughfare. So what's going on here?
There are really no regulations.
He's Lamar Hankins, a member of the Funeral Consumer Alliance.
It comes as a real surprise because there's no regulatory authorities that will deal with that sort of complaint.
Should there be?
I think there should be.
Meaning for now, Hankins says there's no protection for consumers.
They try to maximize the space they have in every way that they can.
Which brings us back to Forest Park, Lawndale. Their management didn't want to go on camera when we talked to them about the problem, but within minutes of our conversation, we saw work crews lifting headstones, replanting grass, and planting flags around graves. So, problem solved, right? Wrong, because a few days later, we returned and did a checkup, and once again found Melvin Schultz's grave smeared with mud and grass and covered by a tire track.
We did fix it.
You'd fixed it, but it's less than a week later, it's even worse.
We're sorry this has happened and assure them that going forward, it's going to be perfect.
So we made a pledge. We're going to come back here again. I can promise you that. And when we come back, will we see more track marks?
I think you'll be satisfied when you come back.
Now, a few days ago, we went back, and Melvin's grave looked great. Also, the general manager called Melvin's family and told them that they made changes that should permanently stop the problem. But we'll continue keeping an eye on things at Forest Park, Lawndale. Courtney Zubowski, KHOU 11 News.
Apartment rents are skyrocketing here in Houston, but just because you're paying big bucks, it doesn't mean you're getting your money's worth.
No, it doesn't. And tonight, the 11 News I-Team looks at an apartment complex with so many problems, even the fire department is worried. Here's our Courtney Zubowski.
You can't get much shishier than this neighborhood. River Oaks, one of the ritziest spots in town. Fancy homes, fancy cars, but what some don't fancy is this.
It was horrifying. It was just so horrifying.
A 17-story high-rise right in the heart of it. And it's not the outside, but what's on the inside.
If you tell people the reality of living there, they either think you're insane.
Conditions tenants like V.K. Smith say they faced,
or that can't possibly be.
while forking out big bucks in monthly rent.
Or that you are certainly being dramatic and exaggerating.
So are they? Follow us for the grand tour.
This is the second flood in my closet in a month.
First stop, this apartment that comes with running water, too much water, escaping out of the building's pipes and plumbing. But it's not just the apartments with this problem. Next, the lobby, where we find the overhead lights also acting like a leaky faucet.
When the water pipes burst in your ceiling, you had the holes in the ceiling.
And Smith says there were also problems with the AC and broken elevators. In 4 years, she says she went through 14 managers.
Horrible. It's been a very horrible experience.
But the worst problem, says former tenant Chris Abercrombie, was something she had suspected about the building.
I asked the fire marshal to go out there and do an inspection.
A lack of fire safety, and fire inspectors found that the high-rise hadn't had a working fire alarm system in a month. So, how dangerous is that? Ask a firefighter and he'll tell you. A high-rise blaze like the one at this Houston building is a life-threatening nightmare.
Not just a danger to citizens and occupants, it's also a danger to firefighters.
So we talked to Roy Lozano with the Houston Fire Department about the River Oaks.
Based on the pattern, would you want you or one of your family members living at 3435 Westheimer?
I wouldn't advise that, not with that many egregious violations. I wouldn't advise that.
Because the I-Team discovered the recent fire alarm breakdown wasn't their first. Year after year, they'd been cited for it being down or for not maintaining it again and again and again.
Violation, violation.
And there were other problems, like missing fire extinguishers, emergency lights not working, missing exit signs, and more. So we had to ask,
How have they not been shut down?
It's very difficult to shut down an occupancy because, one, what are you going to do with all the residents?
and he adds,
Unfortunately, the ownership of this company is out of state. Made it very difficult to hold somebody accountable.
well, how about this man, Jeffrey J. Cohen, who owns this multi-million-dollar estate and is the CEO of the company that not only owns the River Oaks, but also property all over the U.S. A representative for Cohen declined our request for an interview, but sent us a statement in part saying that their highest priority is to protect the health, safety, and well-being of their residents, which is why they have a 24-hour concierge and a full staff. That they are proud of the work they do to ensure the safety of the residents in the property, and they have worked hard to maintain and improve the River Oaks high-rise.
Is 3435 typical of all high-rises in Houston?
Absolutely not.
Now, the spokesperson for the River Oaks high-rise says the fire alarm there is now in working order. As far as the flooding, its representative said that pipes in older buildings do break, but when leaks are identified, they're worked on. Finally, HFD says it plans to re-inspect the building sometime in the next few weeks and are also reconsidering how often they should inspect problem high-rises. Courtney Zubowski, KJU 11 News.
Van to get around says she's been left virtually stranded.
Yeah, she took the vehicle straight to a repair shop, but months later, she's still waiting to drive it home.
So what is the holdup? Investigative reporter Courtney Zubowski gets some answers.
All right.
Life isn't fair, but no one knows that better than Nicole Montgomery.
Even like the littlest bump or bruise can start a flare up.
The 20-year-old was born with a rare disease where a simple knock to the body can turn muscle into bone. Yes, bone.
So I become stiff and unable to move.
All right, girl. She needs a handicapped accessible van to get around. But this van is a rental, one that she says isn't working for her.
Sometimes my chair like slides forward, and so it makes me feel really unsafe.
So where's the one she actually owns?
All I heard was like a big loud boom and crash.
Wrecked when another car plowed into it near her home in Cyprus.
He just barreled right into us.
And in the aftermath, her tow truck driver suggested he drop her vehicle off at this repair shop, Northwest Collision. Eventually paid $15,000 by Montgomery's insurance company to do the repairs. And now, it's not one, not two, but 3 months later.
She's been unable to attend church. She's been unable to have any type of social life outside of this house.
And the truck still isn't repaired, leaving Nicole marooned in her own home and her parents making phone call after phone call to Northwest. The reply?
We're working on it.
How many times have you heard that?
more than I can count. They're not giving us a date. They're just saying we're working on it.
So we went to the Garden Oaks garage to get some answers.
What's taking so long?
It was a pretty big hit.
But guess what? We found Nicole's 2012 Chrysler sitting in the repair shop, looking pretty much the way it did when it was dropped off. And so,
Tell me the timeline. When will they have their car back?
Probably next week.
Next week. Do you know how many times they've been told next week?
I don't know, man.
Manager Lupe Pena blamed the delay on back-ordered parts,
Are you satisfied with the customer service in this case?
No.
but admits this isn't how they typically do business.
I do tell you from here, I will make sure that this vehicle is given back to Mr. Guerrero as fast as possible.
Because time is everything for Nicole. Her grandfather in Alabama just had a major stroke. She wants to go there for Christmas, but without her van, she can't go anywhere.
That van was pretty much everything.
Now, Northwest Collision just sent us pictures of the van. They finished it up today, and Nicole is set to get it back tomorrow. The manager also tells us that he is going to reimburse her family for the rental car fees. Courtney Zubowski, KHOU 11 News. Good evening. I'm Courtney Zubowski. Vicente Arenas is off tonight. For Gabrielle Giffords, it's been a long road to recovery. A gunman shot her in the head during a mass shooting in Tucson, Arizona 1 year ago. Tonight, Giffords has announced through a video message she is stepping down from Congress. KHOU 11 News reporter Jeremy Diesel joins us from Tier Memorial Hermann, where she's made so much progress. A teenager is now back behind bars after allegedly stabbing a cab driver. 18-year-old Jose Lopez was released from jail this morning and hopped into a cab. Investigators say Lopez stabbed the driver in the hand after the two got into an argument and then stole the cab. Police later stopped and arrested him. The cab driver was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Well, turning to weather now, big changes are coming this week. We're expecting some serious rain. Mario.
Yeah, Courtney.
Rescuers still trying to find all the missing passengers aboard the Italian cruise ship that capsized. Fear there could be more bodies than first thought. That's because officials believe there were passengers on board that weren't registered.